Welcome back to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to jump into this with you today. Let's just treat this whole explainer like a dedicated classroom lesson on a topic that literally sits right at the intersection of your everyday life and the Fourth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. We're looking at USA mail privacy and legal awareness. I mean, we check our mailboxes every single day, right? But how much do we actually know about the legal shield, or maybe the lack thereof, surrounding all those envelopes and packages? We're going to break down the law step by step so we can leave here totally empowered and informed. Let's get started. Let's kick things off with a quick pop quiz to test your understanding right out of the gate. You receive private mail, but is it always protected? Think about that for a second. We all kind of assume that once the mail carrier drops something in our box, it's covered by this impenetrable force field of privacy. But, well, the reality of U.S. law is a whole lot more nuanced. The answer to this question isn't just a simple yes or no, and honestly, assuming it is can lead to some major misunderstandings down the road.
Section 1. The Mail Privacy Illusion.
Okay, let's dive right into the core misconception that trips so many people up. Most people assume letters and packages are completely private, but here is what you should actually know in the USA. If we brought in, say, a guest legal historian today to join our class, they'd tell you that while mail privacy has some incredibly deep historical roots in America, those protections, well, they aren't absolute. Law enforcement actually does have specific authorities under certain conditions. You know those envelopes you get with the big, bold, red private stamps on them? Sure, those sensitive labels might make us feel secure, but legally speaking, they don't just rewrite the rules of a police search. We really need to look past the illusion here.
Section 2. What your mail contains.
So let's look at why this matters so much in the first place. Think about what's actually sitting inside your mailbox right now. We are talking about highly sensitive mail contents here. Financial records, legal documents, personal messages, medical information, private details. Picture this in your own life for a second. We're talking about bank statements that show your exact spending habits, or legal notices, maybe a contract or a family court document. We're talking about prescription details. These aren't just pieces of paper. They are a literal blueprint of your private life. Protecting them is absolutely crucial. Because the stakes are so incredibly high, mail privacy involves important legal protections and privacy questions. It's kind of like a giant puzzle, a delicate balancing act between your Fourth Amendment right to be secure in your papers and effects and the actual needs of law enforcement. Yes, your mail is protected, but how far does that protection actually extend? And what triggers a search in the first place? Well, let's take this out of the theoretical realm and put it into a real-world context.
Section 3. During a police investigation.
All right, let's run through a realistic hypothetical scenario together. Imagine you're at home. There's a sudden knock at the door, an officer is standing right there, and they start asking questions about a specific package that was just delivered to your porch. The absolutely most important rule here is this. If officers ask questions about mail or packages, remain calm and respectful. Honestly, this is the foundation of any legal encounter. You just cannot assert your rights effectively if you're losing your cool. Being polite definitely doesn't mean giving up your rights. It means you're managing the situation intelligently. And this brilliantly illustrates the exact dynamic you need to master. On the left side, we have the right way, which is to remain calm and respectful. Contrast that with the right side, the biggest mistake, panicking or reacting emotionally. One major mistake people make is letting fear dictate their actions. If you panic, you might accidentally consent to a search you didn't actually want, or you could escalate a totally routine inquiry into a highly adversarial situation. Just keep your breathing steady, keep your tone neutral, and remember that you've got legal frameworks on your side.
Section 4. Your crucial legal response.
So what exactly should you say if things escalate? This is the most actionable part of our lesson today. I want you to memorize this exact phrase and just lock it away in your mind. I do not consent to a search. In our hypothetical porch scenario, if the officer asks to open that package, this is exactly how you politely but firmly decline. You don't need to be aggressive. You definitely don't need to give a long, dramatic speech about your constitutional rights. You just clearly state those exact 7 words. If they search anyway, they'll have to justify that later in court, but you've done your job by making it unequivocally clear that the search is non-consensual.
Section 5. Warrants and delivery status.
Now, saying I do not consent is super powerful, but it's not some magic spell if the police have other legal authority. Search rules depend on a few key factors. First up, warrants. If a judge has signed a search warrant based on probable cause, officers can search that mail whether you consent or not. Second, delivery status. This is a pretty fascinating area of USA law. The rules for a package currently in transit through the postal system can actually differ from a package that has already been delivered inside your home. And third, specific situations. Remember our Fourth Amendment discussion? This includes things like plain view discovery. If a package is literally torn open and officers can plainly see illegal contents from a place they're legally allowed to be, well, that changes the whole privacy equation. It's highly circumstantial.
Section 6. Protecting your personal information. Knowing all this, how do we actually take control? Let's do a quick recap activity on how to handle your physical mail so we clearly identify protected versus unprotected items. Step 1. Safely store sensitive documents. If you've got those bank statements or medical records we talked about earlier, don't just leave them sitting out on the kitchen counter. File them away securely. Step 2. Destroy documents containing private information. Buy a paper shredder. Many people safely destroy their sensitive documents because once something is out in your trash on the curb, it actually becomes unprotected. Your privacy rights regarding that discarded trash drop significantly compared to mail kept inside your house. These are two incredibly simple, proactive habits for sure.
So the absolutely crucial point to take away today is this. Understanding privacy rights can help protect your personal information and keep situations calm. When you really know the boundaries of the law, when you know what your mail contains, and when you know the exact phrasing to use, like "I do not consent to a search," you replace panic with preparation. You literally transform a potentially terrifying encounter into a manageable, legally sound interaction. And honestly, that is the real power of simple legal awareness.
I want to leave you with this final, vital question to ponder as we wrap up today's explainer. Think about your own habits right now. Are you properly storing your sensitive documents? Seriously, take a look at the mail piling up on your desk right now. Would you be totally comfortable if a stranger started flipping through it? If the answer is no, then it is definitely time to put today's lesson into practice. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I'll see you in the next one.